Riveting content, empowering your life. Welcome to the Sphere. This episode is sponsored by Houston Housewives of Finance. For more information on increasing your cash flow, becoming your own money manager, and to schedule your complimentary personal finance strategy, contact the Houston Housewives of Finance today at 1-844-700-4463. Elite Dental Wellness. At Elite Dental Wellness, Dr. Ashandra Batiste understands that one of the biggest obstacles is dental fear. The vision at Elite Dental Wellness is to ensure every patient is treated with respect, ultimate care, patience, and love. Call us today to make an appointment at area code 713-789-8680. Looking to advertise? Join the Sphere's vast demographic reach of thousands of people all over the world. Send an email today to advertise@thesphere.tv or call us at area code 832-772-7789.
Well, hello, you guys, and it is another episode of All Things Beauty. I have Gary here with me, who's going to be sitting in, and we have some lovely surgeons who have decided to join us today out of Las Vegas, and I'm going to just go ahead and introduce them, and then they'll give you just a little bit of information about what they do and themselves. Okay, so we have Dr. Giselle Anson, Dr. Michael Edwards, Dr. Terrence Higgins, and they are of Anson, Edwards, and Higgins Associates, which is, again, a plastic surgery business, and they are, again, based in Las Vegas. So, for you guys today in the audience, can you see my guest? There they are. Hi, you guys. How are you today? Good. Awesome. So if you would you guys go ahead and just introduce yourselves?
I'm Terry Higgins. I'm a plastic surgeon out of Las Vegas, Nevada, practicing with my partners at Anson, Edwards, and Higgins Plastic Surgery Associates. I primarily do mommy makeovers, massive weight loss patients, some facial aesthetics as well in our practice. I've been practicing in Las Vegas since 2003. With my partner, Dr. Anson, and Dr. Edwards joined us a few years back, and I'll let them introduce themselves.
Giselle Anson. We're in a group practice together, and I limit my practice to aesthetic surgery of the face. So that's what I do.
And I'm Mike Edwards. Been with the practice for about 4 years now. We're all board certified plastic surgeons, co-developers of the Fix Me, which we're going to talk about. My practice primarily focuses on that of breast, primary, and revisional surgery.
Good deal. Thank you all for joining us today. And I just want to dive a bit deep because I think it's important for people to get an understanding about passion. Obviously, when you step into a business or to build a practice, there's usually something inside of you that kind of churns and gives you that purpose and desire as well as destination. So can y'all talk a little bit about why you decided to get into the field of plastic surgery? What was going on in the behind the scenes? If we peel the onion back a little bit, talk to us a little bit about your passions.
Go ahead, passions.
Yeah, we definitely are passionate about what we do. We've all started with a long train of education, undergrad, medical school. We all have general surgery as a background, and then got into plastic surgery because it spoke to us. We liked working with healthy patients. We liked making a change in patients' life. Plastic surgeons operate from head to toe. So we all have done everything in plastic surgery, but have all focused over the course of time to what we do. And it is a passion to see people make a positive change in their life, whether it be a breast surgery, a facial surgery, or even as important as taking good care of your skin.
And what about the rest of you all?
Well, those are hard questions to answer. We sort of evolve, I think. All of our, what we decide to do evolves from what we did before. And again, my background was general surgery, and then I started decided to go into plastic surgery, originally for the reconstructive part. And then I found that I loved the face, that what I really wanted to do was just focus on one thing. And that's what I've done.
Nice.
I think we all have a similar journey in the end. Most of us get interested in something that we're doing with our hands. I think that surgeons like to do stuff with their hands to begin with. So it leads you to a destination that's away from, let's say, internal medicine or family practice, where you're more prescribing medications, treating other illnesses. But as surgeons, I think we're active and we like to be involved and get our hands dirty, literally. That leads us all to the destination of being surgeons in general. From a plastic surgery standpoint, I think most of us probably got interested, like I did, in the reconstructive aspect of it, because as plastic surgeons, we're trained in how to deal with cancer reconstruction, whether that's breast cancer reconstruction or jaw cancer reconstruction or trauma reconstruction, where we're taking our parts of the body from different areas to make something else look normal that the patient might have lost, whether that's a breast or part of a jaw or trauma, and we're trying to make those things corrective. So part of plastic surgery is the aesthetic part of it, which we focused in on later in our careers. But initially, as plastic surgeons, we know how to do hand surgery. We know how to do the broad range of reconstructive surgery, craniofacial surgery, which is cleft lips, cleft palates, and infants that are born with anomalies that we're taking care of. And then the aesthetic role part of it is part of being a plastic surgeon. But in order to get to the point where we're at, that's a long journey. That's decades of figuring out what you want to do and being trained on how to do those things before you're allowed to do what we do, which is specialize in the aesthetic part of plastic surgery in the end. So from all of us, I'd say that journey is probably the same. And we want to get our hands dirty, do something other than just use our minds to treat patients. And I think we can all probably speak to that.
Love it.
It's pretty awesome. So I would like to know, because I know a lot of people, they may have like some misconceptions of like plastic surgery. Maybe they're uneducated about it, or generally just think like when they think plastic surgery, they may think boobs, getting like a breast job. So what I want to know is, what are the risks, or what should people know before, taking the step of getting plastic surgery, and what should they know, about before they go under the knife, generally, basically?
I'm going to let Mike take the lead on this, Dr. Edwards, because he's been past president of our society, and he's fought really hard to change some of the laws about who to go to and how you can advertise as a plastic surgeon, because no plastic surgeon would call themselves a cosmetic surgeon. Those are folks who generally don't have a plastic surgery background and training. But I'm going to let Dr. Edwards take the lead on that.
Now, I think the most important thing to answer your question is that patients need to realize that it's surgery. It's just not going into a strip mall and getting something done. There are potential risks, albeit them very small, when they're conducted by a board-certified plastic surgeon such as us. And we use anesthesiologists, work in fully accredited surgical centers. We're surrounded by smart people in the event something happens. So it's really a very important question we could talk for hours about, because the patients that are your listeners need to take it upon themselves to learn about what they're having done and who's going to be doing it, what are their credentials, what's their training, and is it safe to let them take care of them. They need to go to a board-certified plastic surgeon for plastic surgery.
Now, do you have, or whether it's on your website over at fixmdskin.com or located elsewhere, is there a place that potential patients can go to actually get a list of questions that they need to ask and need to be familiar with beforehand, before they even step foot in someone's office for a consultation?
Excellent question. Our actual practice website is www.plasticsurgeryvegas.com. And within that website are a series of questions that have been answered whole host of information about us, about procedures we offer, and hopefully that generates questions. So when a patient comes to an office, they should come with questions in hand and not just be a blank slate. They should have done a little bit of research before they got there to know what to ask. I mean, our job, we're all about educating. We love to do that. Patients' visits are easily an hour long in the office for whether it be a breast augmentation or a facelift or a body lift. So we strive to educate, but patients need to work on educating themselves as well.
Good deal.
Yeah, very good. So what I want to know, because I was doing a little research and I found that some people may be addicted to getting plastic surgery. So what I do want to know is, how do you handle those clients, and at what point is like it too much plastic surgery?
Take it.
Sure.
You love that question.
Yeah. It's interesting. People have most people have very realistic expectations, where they have a certain idea of what can be done. It's our job when they come in for consultation to try to get them realistic about what to expect.
Okay.
So first thing is, what are their expectations, and then can we deliver? And are their requests reasonable?
Yeah.
And every day every single day we work on this problem. Every single day we have to ask ourselves, is this reasonable? Is this patient, what we're asking for reasonable, and can we deliver, and will they be happy? Because if their expectations are off, we can't make them happy.
Yeah.
And TV doesn't always help, and they have, they give you ideas that, magic. It's not magic, it's real surgery. And you can't go from being 60 years old to looking like you're 30. That's not possible.
Unrealistic.
Yeah.
Unrealistic. However, we can make you look
Yeah.
as good as you can for your age, or we can make things look quite good if your expectation is realistic.
And speaking to that, or getting addicted to plastic surgery, where you have patients who are insatiable, is what we like to say about what we do, and that becomes problematic sometimes. Most patients, like Dr. Anson said, are reasonable, so we don't have to talk people down off the ledge that often. But yeah, there are people who doctor shop, and I tell them, just when we say no, don't go look for someone who'll say yes.
Yeah.
We're telling you no because it's what we would tell our own sister, brother, mother, friend, patient. And when we say no, it's for a reason. And they'll doctor shop, and someone will eventually say yes.
Yeah.
And that's sort of some of the problem that we deal with. And that person may or may not be a plastic surgeon that they're dealing with. And it may be someone in the community. We've all seen fillers that are overdone,
Yeah.
facial fillers, whether, you've seen it, and everyone sees it because you notice what looks terrible and what looks not normal. All you can do is look at it, okay? So people will find a way, if they're really addicted, elsewhere when we tell them no half the time. But we try to educate them about why no, and about looking normal, and about looking their best, and not looking abnormal, because everything that looks abnormal, whether it's lips that are too big, cheeks that are too big, or breasts that are too big,
Yeah.
or facelifts that are pulled tight, that's all anyone can notice is what looks abnormal. And when they get to that point, we have patients sometimes return to us after we call the cheating on us with somebody else putting filler in, where they ask us to dissolve it or to correct problems that we've told them no about, but they come back to us. And a lot of our practice is what I would call reparative work from things that are done even when we told the patient not to do them.
Yep.
Okay.
You're not gonna-
As we sit and have our initial consultation, we're psychiatrists for the most part. We're evaluating patients. What's their motivation? What have they had done before? We can sometimes meet patients that have had 5-10 surgeries before, and so those are kind of red flags for us that we want to make sure to guide folks in the right path. And like Dr. Higgins said, they will go and find someone else to do it, and there's always somebody that will, whether it be a strip mall cosmetic surgeon, a family practice doctor doing cosmetic surgery. It's not illegal. It's just it's not who I would send my sister or family members to.
But remember that true body dysmorphic syndrome, that's the syndrome where you look in the mirror and you really don't see what other people see. You can't be objective about it. That's pretty uncommon. Most people are not that severe. Most people are pretty realistic, and then there's a small group that needs to be reined in.
Yeah.
And then there's a small group that's pathologic.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think that's understandable. I think a lot of times you're right. People get caught up in these situations, which could either be a bit unethical. Not that it's illegal, but where were your morals at when this patient was told no several times, and now they're here looking for a yes? And I would assume that some of these, as you mentioned, strip mall doctors or strip mall physicians are simply looking for a check, simply looking to financially appease themselves instead of sticking by their morals and values in regards to that patient's well-care, which actually brings us to a great portion of our show that's sponsored by the Houston Housewives of Finance. So did you know that only 4 states in the United States offer financial education? 33% or more than 77 million of Americans don't pay their bills on time. 39% of Americans carry credit card debt from month to month, and 39% of adults say they don't have enough in savings. Don't become one of these statistics. Let Houston Housewives of Finance advise you on increasing your cash flow and becoming your own money manager by scheduling your complimentary personal financial strategy. Contact Houston Housewives of Finance today at 1-844-700-4463 or send them an email over to info@HoustonHousewivesOfFinance.com. Ask us how you can participate in a complimentary financial literacy workshop near you. Houston Housewives of Finance are the new faces of the new age of financial services. And we're glad to have doctors on our show today that are not concerned about the finances, but concerned about the morals of their patients.
So I kind of have a question for that. Because I feel like we live in a society, especially like for women. I know it's kind of being a thing for guys too, but more so like for women.
Talk about it.
Who have this like idea of beauty that is really only realistic if they get this plastic surgery, because we look at these celebrities who have like this perfect face, this perfect body. Like, are there steps for people who come in and maybe they want to do something that's kind of unrealistic, or it's obvious that they're like maybe addicted to it, or they're trying to get all of these surgeries? Are there, like, for doctors, is there like some place that you suggest for them, that you send them, or how do they get help to deal with themselves with wanting to get surgery to get an image that's kind of unrealistic?
Well, I think that, as Dr. Anson said, the true body dysmorphic disorder that is talked about is pretty common.
I understand what you're saying.
My 21-year career, nobody comes to mind that I can think that has had that. So it's not common. But I guess if they truly had that, we'd probably try to encourage them to see a mental health provider of some kind, a counselor, not so much a psychiatrist, but it's still our job to talk to patients, try to in our time with them, talk about reality, talk about what's best for them. And I think Dr. Higgins said it best. You really want to make patients, and Dr. Anson as well, we want to make patients look good. We don't want their looks to stand out. We want them to feel great about themselves. But when you see someone that has a bad result, like a bad facelift or a bad breast surgery, that's what stands out to you. But the great majority of the time, that's not what the end result is.
Yeah, we would send those patients, if, like Dr. Edwards said, if they really were having body dysmorphic disorder and we thought they had some psychological issues for counseling, whether it's a psychiatrist, psychologist, because those are people who need to delve into the other parts of why they see something so different than is really what's happening in the mirror. But again, those are few and far between. We've sent a few people, but that's an uncommon thing. Most people, when you talk to them about the realities of what they can get from surgery or not, and that surgery is just surgery and it's not going to change their lives, they get it. Most people are reasonable and they understand it.
We send I think we probably refer a fair amount of patients for counseling, mostly because it's important for them to understand that surgery can be great, but it's not going to change their lives. So if a patient is struggling with wanting to do something to impact their life, this is not the answer for a life-changing change of view. So we do send a fair amount of patients for counseling.
Yeah, the one example would be the woman that presents who's going through a divorce, and she thinks that having surgery is going to save her marriage. It's not going to happen. That's not the root cause of what's going on. And so those people we do refer them. We have cards that we give them and contacts we have for mental health counselors, and so we try to help them out, not just do surgery when it's not necessary.
I see.
I love it.
Yeah.
I think that's so core and it's necessary.
Yeah.
Because once again, one, it speaks back to the moral values of the physician or surgeon in this case that's proceeding over you,
Right.
and then two, at the end of the day, you as an individual get the win. You
Right.
get in the right office, inside or in front of the right person, which would then sew back into your life to
Yeah.
make sure that you get things on,
Yeah.
back into proper
I
perspective.
think it's awesome that there's that you guys would suggest or send them to counseling, because I didn't know that was a part of plastic surgery. Because again, for like TVs, I know there's a show like Botch. For the most part, you get like a negative idea sometimes, because it's like you see these people with these excessive surgeries and you're like, okay, at what point do they tell them
Exactly.
no?
Yeah. Nobody's saying no. At least that's the way society
Yeah.
plays it, right? And then, of course, as you mentioned earlier, Tiff, it seems like society says, no, this is the new norm, right?
Right.
This is where you should
Right.
be. If you're
Right.
not here, there's something wrong with you.
Right.
When internally, you need to be okay with self before you make any changes, I would say.
This is very
That's probably
true.
the best patient overall.
Yeah. No, I totally agree.
All of those things.
That's good advice.
Yeah, I think social media, as we all know, plays a large role in some of what patients' expectations of what they think they should look like. Even younger people think they should look
Yeah.
like. And I see younger people who are getting things done, i.e. fillers and stuff early on that maybe don't need them, or facial surgeries at early ages. And I think they end up looking older as opposed to younger a lot. It's an interesting phenomenon, but I think social media plays a large role in everything
Yeah,
that happens
that's for
these
sure.
days, but especially in plastic surgery. And then we have some, the surgeons themselves who are doing these, what are those quick blogs called?
The Snapchat.
Snapchat things, which,
Oh, the filters,
Snapchat.
the augmented reality.
Yeah, the Snapchat. Well, speaking of social media, we're going to get into our Facebook Live. Facebook Live, we ask that you subscribe to our show on all major platforms, including iTunes, SoundCloud, Google Play, and Stitcher. Review our show in iTunes with constructive feedback. Share this Facebook Live post and the entire show with your families and friends. Donate to our mission to bring enriched and inspiring content each and every week. You can donate at www.thespirit.tv/donate. Alrighty.
Good
sorry,
deal.
did you have something?
No, go ahead.
Okay. So what I do want to ask you guys, I guess it's to say what would be a typical day is probably not typical because you're a plastic surgeon. But what I do want to know is, what is the most common surgery and how much does it cost?
Well,
Oh, I'm sorry. Could you guys hear me?
We see a lot of folks coming through our office. We have an average of between 200 and 300 patients a day coming through our office. With seeing one of the surgeons, there's four plastic surgeons in our practice. We also have a board-certified dermatologist in our practice. We have 4 estheticians who do skincare in our practice. We have a few nurse injectors who do the injectables like Botox and facial fillers in our practice. So we have a large volume practice with a lot of people coming in and out of our doors during any given day. So we move. We see a lot of folks, but we still give them the time that they need to hear from us. Like Dr. Edwards was saying, with the consultation, if you're coming in for initial consultation, you can expect to be here for at least an hour during that consultation, whether it's for face or breast or body, whatever it's going to be. You're in for an education and a little bit of discussion. Depending on what case you're doing for us, you may get some 3D imaging to show you what the breast might look like or a nose might look like, surgically correcting some of those things. We also use our computer-based programs to educate patients during their consultation. During a surgical day, we generally are operating from 7 a.m., 8 a.m. until 5 p.m. most days. And we've got a busy practice. We're the top 1% of the practices in the U.S. for the amount of Botox and facial fillers that we actually do. We do an inordinate amount. As you mentioned earlier, we developed our own skincare line called Fix MD Skincare, because it's an integral part of treating aging in our practice, especially facial aging. We don't think you can have a plastic surgery practice relying solely on surgery without addressing what the skin quality is going to look like. And that's why we spend so much time developing a skincare line and really focusing on skincare in our practice.
Okay.
Yeah, in terms of typical surgeries, like I said, I do breast surgery, but when you talk about the cost, that's always a common question, and it's important to know, but the cost of a procedure involves facility fees, the operating room, anesthetic fees, equipment or supplies that are used, in my case, breast implants, and then there's a surgeon's fee. So quite honestly, we don't discuss fees with the patients. We have staff that do that, so I couldn't tell you clearly what our fees are. It varies from region to region, right? But the takeaway, I think, should be that patients shouldn't shop for cost. Don't go for the low budget deal, which is me in revision surgery. I meet people that are unhappy with their results, and oftentimes they went. We get people that go south of the border from here in Las Vegas, or they've gone to that famous strip mall cosmetic doctor that shouldn't have been doing the surgeries. So cost will vary.
Yeah, I agree. You got to be very careful when it comes down to cost, and that should be important. It's whatever physician you're looking for, looking to have any type of work or procedure done. Speaking of which, we've got a particular physician we like to talk about, which rolls us into the next portion of our show that's sponsored by Elite Dental Wellness. At Elite Dental Wellness, our vision is to create a welcoming practice that will offer exceptional dental care and a lifetime of dental wellness. We are committed to the finest possible oral care and the overall health and well-being of our patients. Elite Dental Wellness is built upon a foundation of integrity, expertise, and service. Through our commitment to modern dentistry, continuing education, and a friendly atmosphere, we strive to meet our patients' needs and make them feel as though they are part of our family. Dentistry can be scary, daunting, and uncomfortable. Dr. Batiste and her team work tirelessly to ensure your comfort. Make your appointment today with Dr. Ashandra Batiste at Elite Dental Wellness by calling 713-789-8680. And if you say the Sphere, you get 10% off your next visit.
So I know you mentioned just now the Fix MD. I do want to ask you guys about that. I know it's a skincare line that you are launching. Would you go ahead and just tell us about the product and just a little bit about where we can find it, when it will be, launching, and again, just give us insight on that product.
So Fix MD has been our labor of love for us for the past 5 years. We've skincare be an integral part of our practice for a very long time. Where I mentioned earlier, we have 4 estheticians. All they do is medical grade skincare for us. We've had private labels, which we've been involved with skincare lines in the past, and all of that came to a culmination with Fix MD, which is our new skincare line, which will be launching on QVC in the next month. And will also be in stores in the spring. We also are available currently online at our website, fixmdskincare.com. The skincare line is everything that we could possibly put into a skincare line that we would have as a wish list. We put into our skincare line, so that we wanted to take the guesswork out of skincare for any skin type, any age groups. So we set forth to develop a skincare line that had everything we would want to do for the vast majority of people. Now, if you have access to a plastic surgeon or a dermatologist, like in our office, we may add some other things to that skincare that are particular and specific to each patient. But as a global skincare line, that's why we're launching Fix MD, because we want to take the guesswork out of your skincare. So if you go to Sephora or one of the big department stores and look at the literal thousands of products that are sitting on the store shelves, it's really confusing for patients or for consumers of how do you choose what to use on your skin. If you're trying to address the things that are happening with aging, you're trying to preserve the things that are going right with your skin at this point in youth. And we saw that patients were getting frustrated without knowing what to choose and to pick off the counter what to use. And we wanted to make that simpler for them. And that's basically where we started and spearheaded Fix MD. And it's a high science brand we've literally used as many plant-based ingredients as we could, all organic,
Okay.
to fight the signs of aging and also preserve the youth that we have in the skin with things like protection from HEV light, which is coming from the computer screens we're looking at right now, from our cell
Yeah.
phones. Okay. Wanted to activate some of the stem cells and upregulate the stem cells, which are the things that replace old, dead, dying cells. Wanted to increase the collagen and elastin productions and protect those things that are going right in the skin. Also, we have DNA damage that happens on the daily, 1 million times a day. We wanted to help with repair mechanisms for that DNA so that our skin can function like younger skin. So we want to get not just looking younger, but also acting younger. And the way that we do that is by addressing multiple pathways in the aging process all at the same time.
Okay.
So some skincare lines may have active ingredients, 1 or 2, like a retinol or a peptide or a hyaluronic acid in their product. And that's what they're really hanging their hat on. But what we've designed is a product line that has anywhere from 10 to 15 active ingredients in each of the products, so that we're hitting those multiple aging pathways all at the same time to combat the things that are happening with aging and with youth preservation as well.
I see.
Long-winded. I'll let Dr. Anson.
Excellent.
Okay.
Well, it is.
For me.
I mean, if skincare starts, we should all do skincare. We don't all need plastic surgery. So it's something we thought for the masses, this would be the best way to allow them to be able to take good care of their skin, starting at a young age. Because when Dr. Hansen does a facelift, the better health that your skin is in, the better the results you're going to have.
Absolutely.
There's no question about that.
And like Dr. Edwards said, not everyone's going to do surgery, but everyone can do skincare. Everyone, any skin type, any age group, everyone can do skincare. And to make those small investments in your skin in the long term, people got used to using sunscreen for certain reasons because we understand the damaging effects that the sun and the environment has on our skin. So sunscreens become something for the younger population that everyone uses. But when I was a kid, or we were kids, nobody used sunscreen unless you were a lifeguard. And we want to change people think about what they're putting on why they're putting it on their skin, because we really want them to understand the science behind what's happening with aging, which is on the daily, and how to preserve the youth you still have, the things that are still going right with your skin. How do we do things at the same time? And that's really what Cindy does.
Okay. So it sounds like this product is both a restorative and like a preventive skincare. And it seems like it's made in order to kind of knock out having to, like you said, go and choose a lot of different products. Because I know with a lot of skin lines, there's a lot of steps. Like you have to buy one product and then buy this product. But your product, is what you're saying, has all of those active ingredients, which gives them the choice to have just that one, and then eliminates having to do the several regimens. Is that what you're saying?
Well, in part. I mean, we still have a system, which is basically 4 products, which is a cleanser, a serum, moisturizer, and an eye cream.
Okay.
And it's designed to be a system, but we've put as many active ingredients in those products as we can. That means active ingredients are things that actually affect aging.
Okay.
That actually go to the root causes of aging and what's happening in the skin from the biochemical standpoint, from the damage from the environment standpoint, from upregulation of stem cells, all of those things, the same things at the same time. And like you were talking about other skincare lines, most of them have 1 or 2 active ingredients in their product. That's what they hang their hat on, whether it's a melon extract or whether, like we talked about before, it's a hyaluronic acid or it's
like a wrinkle,
or retinol or peptide. We put all of those things in the most current, up-to-date, scientifically current ingredients that we possibly could within the skincare of FixMD to address all of those things at the same time.
I see. Now, I want to ask, so would this be a product for your patients that you would recommend first before them stepping into wanting to do a surgery procedure? Or would you have them kind of do both?
Well, I think everybody should be doing skincare. So that's a basic thing that everybody should be doing, no matter what your age. So some people will graduate to fillers and Botox. Some people may even go beyond that to actual plastic surgery. That's great. but everybody should do skincare.
Oh,
There's
I
really
definitely
just no,
hear them.
there's no getting around that.
But to go back to your question, Dr. Anson could see somebody and talk to them about a facelift, but say, you know what, you're a candidate for this, talk about the surgery, but you would do much better, and put them on a skincare regimen. Have them see one of our medical grade supervised estheticians, get on a regimen to enhance their skin healthier so they get a better result. And then we have patients that come back and thank us years later.
Okay.
Or you see that in their face. You see the health and the vitality in their skin, even after they've had, maybe it's an eyelid surgery or a facelift surgery, maybe no surgery, but we get thanks from patients for helping, guiding them in that direction.
Yeah, we talk about, quality and quantity of skin. Quantity of skin you can deal with surgical interventions, facelift, eye lifts, brow lift. But the quality of skin you have to deal with lotions and potions, right? And that's just the reality of it. So most often when we have a patient coming in, we're educating them about skincare and the surgical interventions that they might actually have, because we think it's important to do both.
Okay.
For estheticians who are medically oriented on our staff, and that's all they do is skincare to help guide our patients into what they can do to make their skin as good as possible. So we take skincare very seriously.
Yeah, the skincare and FixMD, we have real studies in the laboratory and consumer-based studies as well. So we're not just talking about results that haven't been proven. We prove these in laboratory settings about diminishing in fine lines, increasing collagen production, diminish reds and blues around the eyes, lifting of the eyelid skin, brightness, improved texture of the overall skin. We've done these in the laboratory as well as on our patients. So we're talking about real science, not about just focus.
Okay. Yeah, I know. I totally agree. Skincare is very important. And I always tell people, because I work in skincare just a little bit, so I always tell them that it's very important to start off, because I think kids, or the younger generation, we get so focused on I have acne, how can I cover it? I want to put on makeup. But you definitely want to get you a very good regimen for your skin, so that way as you age, it will age gracefully with you. So I think I'd be very excited, or when it actually launches in stores for people to try, and that they can see those results. And I'm sure your patients are already using this product, correct?
Absolutely.
Okay. And they can, so for the audience, can they go online to see some of the results, the before and after pictures of the product, so that way, it would inspire them, or they'll know how to use it and what type of actual real results to expect?
They can go on our website, fixmdskin.com.
Okay.
That's fixmdskin.com, and look at our actual studies and the results and the before and afters from the studies as well, and customers' responses and how much they love the product. All of those things that we found on that website as well. And just speaking from personal life, we've had access to every good skincare line, physician directed and the like, in our practice. And my skin, personally, at my age, has never looks better today at 50 years old than it did at 30 years old for me. And that's really come from using FixMD skincare. It's totally changed the way my skin looks. And it's pretty fantastic. I think everyone who uses it is going to fall in love with it.
Yeah, absolutely. So I'm going to get in this sponsored portion of the show. This portion of the show is sponsored by The Spear. Are you starting your business and looking for a place to advertise? Do you have a need to reach out to thousands of people across the world to build your brand or sell your product? If so, get your product placement and advertising needs handled right here at The Spear. We offer a wide variety of content delivery platforms, including iTunes, Google Play, SoundCloud, YouTube, and Stitcher. Plus, we have a vast demographic reach within the United States, as well as modern countries across the globe. Our enriched content and inspiring dialogue, coupled with your strategic ad, is surely to hit the mark every time. Call us today at area code 832-772-7789, or send an email over to advertise@thespear.tv. Alrighty. Well, I do thank you guys for giving us an insight on your product, and definitely for joining us today here on The Spear. So just to close out, I kind of want to ask you guys. I know that you're based out in Vegas. I wanted to ask, do you do any celebrity surgeries? And kind of just to get an idea, what's probably the most outrageous request that you've had?
Well, we couldn't tell you if we took care of celebrities. It'd be unethical for us to do that. We have a very high volume, high profile practice.
Okay.
Say that. Boy, most outrageous. We have a wonderful patient base. We really do. We see patients from all walks of life, whether they be professionals, physicians, attorneys, judges, to housewives, to students, and people who work in the entertainment industry as well. There's no question about that.
I think we have a fairly conservative reputation and practice here in Las Vegas, which may be an anomaly in Las Vegas, but we do. And I think that by just our reputation and by the patient base that we have, we got a pretty reasonable patient selection, and we don't get crazy requests for the most part. I mean, the craziest requests we get are, too much filler. I'm not going to put any more filler in. Nothing really out of the ordinary. And again, I think that's just because we've designed our practice to have a reputation of being, as we talked about earlier, conservative, certainly ethical, certainly sort of above the cut. And I think that we auto-select those kind of patients out of our practice before they even would consider coming to us.
I see. Okay. Awesome.
Sorry, I know that's
No. That's great. That's awesome. I love the way that you guys work with so many morals, and that you don't want to, overstep the boundaries of, making people look like they've had too much plastic surgery. So that's definitely a good thing to advertise and to be known for in such of a practice. So definitely want to thank you guys for joining us today, giving us some insight on your practice, and definitely letting us know about FixMD. For all of the viewers and listeners on the show, definitely go over to the site, FixMD.com, and take a look at the product. And if you have any needs, definitely reach out to them. I'm sure they'll be glad to have some new patients on board. Okay. Alrighty, and that will be the closing for the show of All Things Beauty this episode. Did you guys have any remarks or anything that you would like to say?
The website is www.fixmdskin.com.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Thank you very much.
Skin.com.
Thank you for having us.
Thank you guys. Have a good night, everyone. Bye-bye.
Thank you.